everybody, it's Dave again. I wanted to show you guys where we're at. So we didn't have a problem with that bolt, these bolts all down in here. It's really hard to see, especially with the camera. There's one, another one's hidden there. Just remember there's 6 bolts per side on the bottom and one of those is on the inside. We got all those torqued up, but now we can, and they're torqued to 18 foot-pounds is what I'm setting them to. Now we have these up here, and you can see on the other side, we got all our holes retapped, our new studs and nuts put in, and we put all this on. We put these in while the bottom was loose, and then we torqued the bottom with the studs in. That way it's going to keep our alignment perfect. Studs first, the nuts on there loosely, then torque the bottoms. The bottoms go in first. Just make sure you have all your other components. Back here you have your vacuum line. You have a sensor, an air temperature sensor that needs to be plugged in. All of your other electronics up here. Vacuum on the other side. You guys know what to do. I'll go through some of this with you after I get this torque down, but now we can safely torque all this down to the proper torque specs without having any major problems with leakage. And you can notice I can now put some actual pressure right on there. Makes it so much nicer when you stud out your engine, especially if you have a Corvette like this and you're trying to get optimum performance. This is a major performance issue that a lot of people will lack on and skip over. Here is the warning. While I am improving this, guess what? It makes it a bit more of a pain to take off. You still have to take off your nuts and then your studs, and then you may end up having to go over and over. But again, the nicer part, and go to the other side here. And if you hear a bit of wind, I got my swamp cooler going. This is the desert where I live in, so summer kind of starts off in May. My wife was telling me today it's 105 degrees in her car, and I think it's May. Well, you'll see the date. But anyway, in case you're wondering, these are 8mm by 1.25mm on the thread pitch. I'm using, honestly, these are nuts I got from a recall when I was working at Dodge for their brake booster. They got a lock nylon aspect to it. Really great for engine components that don't get hot. And this is one of those. It should not be getting hot. Never use nylon. Let me see. Right there. Never use nylon and exhaust. It's a pointless effort. You'll need to get what's called a pinch bolt. Lock washers are fine and all, but pinch bolts actually grab onto that stud. Alright, so we got them hand tight. And now we're going to torque them down. And this, guys, if you're doing this and you're kind of new, this totally takes the scare out of tightening into aluminum. Beautiful. See that? Has plenty more room to tighten up. I could really crank down on these studs. Again, I already got my bottoms torqued down sequentially. And that is a fun project on its own. If you are doing the bottoms, which you probably will, it's a Torx 40 socket for the top end for the bottom initially. although my bottom did not feel like it was ever stripping out. So the bottom felt great. The top had issues. Again, it was at a shop where somebody was practicing. But now we have a very, very solid intake manifold that is going to be perfectly sealed up and can be very easily retorqued again. I'll get back together with you guys and let me see if I can show you on the next phase here. I'm going to be repairing some of this wiring down here. You can see right there, there's a tip of it, and then there's another part. Again, rats are a son of a gun. We're going to be blowing this off, checking off the wiring. We've got a little bit more wiring damage up here, where whoever was the quote-unquote mechanic, they did this. I'm going to talk to the owner about that, see if we can get the right compressor on here. Again, and I'm making notes. You see the corrosion down here. Let the customer know about that. It's not detrimental, but it will need to be addressed in the nearer future. Okay, everybody, so I hope this helps with your 3.7 liter intake plenum leak on tuned port injection engine for a Corvette. And I hope to see you the next time. Have fun.